welcome to the FTW Podcast, the wrestling world in its laughable glory. My name is Harrison, and with me as always is Lopez. No, I'm sorry, Joe. Say hello, Joe.
Hello, my friends.
Lee. Say hello, Lee.
Good evening.
Rob. Say hello, Rob.
Hey.
And Garvin is manning the boards. Tonight is episode number 132 and is coming to you live on September 18th, 2012. And on tonight's show, we're going to talk Night of Champions, Impact, we got a big draft trade coming, and your thoughts on the week that was in professional wrestling. If you're new to the show, check out theftwpodcast.com about us and how to get involved in tonight's show as well as upcoming shows. You can reach out to us on Twitter, Facebook, voicemail, text message, email, etc. All those links and information is listed there, so go to ftwpodcast.com. But first, we got to talk the draft. We're going to run down the leaderboards, and then we're going to list the trades. First up, basically the big five wrestlers, essentially the same as they've always been. We got Sheamus at 30.5, Randy Orton's at 28 points, Jeff Hardy and R-Truth. I can't believe Jeff Hardy's getting this big of a push, but good on him. Both tied for 20. Sin Cara's at 19.5. Top five teams. God damn it. Lee is still in first place with 72 points with basically, Mike 2.0. We should just say Mike's team from last year. You're just cementing that lead. It's starting to become a race for second place. But remember, as good as you are now, once you get to the playoffs, it's already set. Radio Influence. Yeah. So at Radio Influence is at 39, Connor at 38.5. And RKO Voices and Chris are both tied for fourth with 34.5 points. We should have figured out how many points you actually need to lock. Or I don't think that would work, would it? Because it's all comparative to each other. So would there be a lock point where so many points and you're automatically in?
Not that we recall, we know offhand.
Yeah.
Only because you could have John Cena do 2 matches a night all of a sudden, and it's all on the booking. It's all dependent on the booking.
Well, it's not. Yeah, it's all in it's all in the booking, and it's not like a 0-sum game. Like if Lee keeps winning, that doesn't necessarily mean we all lose. So it's not like at the end it's like Lee. You know what I mean? It's not like a best of 5 scenario. So I don't think there is a lock of points. Anyway, our division, Team FTW, is at 262.5 points, and Team Listeners is way back in second place with 212.5. Were some trades. RKO Voices dropped Heath Slater for Ted DiBiase. Not sure about that one, but I guess Heath Slater's not going anywhere. Mike was, because he's in with the PW Torch, insider information. I think we really should. This was, I don't know about this one, but Mike dropped Magnus for Matt Morgan because he found out that Matt Morgan was doing TNA house shows. So can't do it on Wall Street, but apparently you can do it on draft. Garvin dropped Jinder for Eve, and Hogan versus McMahon dropped Robbie E for Tensai. And I'm making a trade. I'm dropping Madison Rayne for Tara.
You son of a bitch.
That was the trade that Rob wanted, and he didn't get it because I called it in the pre-show. So Garv, log it. I'm dropping Madison Rayne for Tara. I got another trade, but I'm going to hold off on a week for that. I want to see how things go. It was something Mike and I were discussing on the weekend. All right, so now that Madison Rayne is on the board, anybody going to take it? Lee, you mentioned that you were thinking about picking her up just because you can get rid of Christian.
Yeah, you disappointed me. That's all I'm going to say, but you disappointed me.
Yeah, how dare I disappoint the first place guy? I'm not in last, but...
Since she can't do any worse than my current one, I'll drop Mickie James and I'll take Madison Rayne.
Okay, so Mickie James is now free. Madison Rayne is up. If Garvin, well, you know what? Hang on, let me put mine in the chat so he has it.
Right. So to avoid the dead air, I'm still loving my team. My team is the Bomb Diggity.
Your team is.
It doesn't matter. In the long haul,
your team is a bomb, not the diggity. It's just a bomb, dude. That's what your team is.
No, I'm enjoying my Ryback run. Cody Rhodes is okay. As far as the other 2 picks, it's rough.
It really is, and it sucks because there's nobody really else out there. I mean, Tara. I don't know. I was just kind of surprised she was still free. I mean, I thought Zack Ryder was free, but I forgot he got dropped, and I forgot he also got picked up by who picked him up? Chris picked him up because I remember him being dropped. I'm like, man, Zack Ryder would be a great pick because they're pushing him hard. So, oh well. All right, no other trades. We can move on.
Yep.
I may come up with one throughout the list, but I'm good right now.
Okay, I mean, if you want to interrupt, if during the show, if you want to make it, that's fine.
If I want it, I'm just gonna interrupt you in kicking the dick and.
Well, I'm not the one who's always talking. I'm just saying, if you wanted to wait until in between a segment.
Yeah, you are. You're always talking.
Keep in mind, though, chat. I mean, a lot of people in the chat are in the draft, so they might beat you to it. So just keep that in mind. All right, episode 131 reaction. Pecker Decker on YouTube. God, I love that screen name. I have to ask why is a 60-plus-year-old man performing in a wrestling ring? Professional wrestling is a physical job, although he did say he hopes Mr. Lawler recovers. Yeah, that's kind of what was in the back of everybody's head. We don't really know if this heart attack is related to that. Like, it could just be a diet thing, or it could have just been, it was, time bomb. Like, it was just going to happen just because of his age. I will say, I thought it was weird that, he has the heart attack, and then he's seen with, looked like a 8-ounce steak in the middle of the hospital, but good on him. Norm Maniac on YouTube. All right, I'm reading this entire thing because he was actually in the arena. He goes, okay, so as somebody who was in the arena for that Raw, our Joe, could not be more wrong about WWE bringing Bret Hart back. The place was absolutely electric. I agree that about many of these other, quote, legends, but Hart is in a league of his own, especially here in Canada. He's a perfect representation of how WWE should be using wrestlers over the age of 50. Your reaction, Joe?
Okay, I get that. But do it once a year. Don't do it like every other month like they were. They had them out, for an entire month? And then they're doing every other month you're seeing Bret Hart come back? Just because you go to Canada, yeah, you got to go to Tim Hortons, but you don't have to drag Bret Hart out.
Yes, you do.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do, man. Well, I don't.
Why don't you bring out anybody else? Bring out Jim the Anvil Neidhart.
Can't, he's in prison.
And he was working with TNA before he went to prison.
So at this point I don't care. No, I just don't want to keep seeing them drag him because he's looking more seriously, he's looking more and more like an old wet dog.
Yeah, it's hard. Well, no, I will say in defense of Joe, it is kind of hard looking at Bret Hart and thinking, wow, you were like one of my idols when I was a kid. It's rough. It's like looking at the Rolling Stones now. It's like, wow, you guys looked a lot better in the 60s, and you guys look like husks now.
Right. And if you're going to make the argument for keeping Bret Hart out, I think that's the only way you can do it is, with the way his physical condition is going downhill. That to me is the argument you make, but
I mean,
don't get me wrong, Rob. I have the utmost. Harrison, hold on.
Okay,
I have the utmost respect for Bret Hart. I'm not trying to take any of his accomplishments away from him. It's one of those things where I don't want to see the WWE keep going back to Attitude Era guys and pre-Attitude Era guys to get pops when I think they really need to do something with the younger talent instead of giving camera time to guys who aren't going to be wrestling whatsoever.
Yeah, but I think this year was the exception. But normally the WWE only brings him out when they go to Canada, and they bring him out when they go to Canada because he's a fucking god up there. It's a great way to get the crowd fired up, and Bret Hart's usually not out there too long.
Okay,
then my argument is bring him out. Like they did the Shawn Michaels appreciation night. Bring him out when the cameras aren't rolling. You don't have to have him on camera.
That's also a very good point. Okay,
that's a good point, and that's something I could get behind.
That's a pretty fair compromise. All right. The other thing he wanted to point out is that the atmosphere during the Del Rio Kid match, which was was basically right after and during what happened, was indescribable. Strangers in the crowd were comforting each other, passing phones back and forth to check Twitter. There must have been a dozen Jerry chants, probably one during every single break. The last hour of the show was a daze, which to him makes the Cena Punk promo that much more compelling. If the entire show, basically if the show ended in a match of any sort of standard finish, the entire hour would have been a wash. He also wants to say he doesn't want to agree with what Lee said about Michael Cole. He watched him like a hawk for the last hour of the broadcast, and the man was a complete wreck. When his head wasn't buried in his hands, he was writing almost nonstop in his notes. To pull himself together and continue sitting there for the rest of the broadcast while who knows what's going on backstage to his friend was nothing short of amazing. Yeah, that was one of those things. It's not. It's what we assumed and what we kind of figured as far as what was going on in the arena at the time. And it was nice for Normaniac. Thank you so much for writing in and letting all of us know that that's basically what was going on. And I mean, I can just imagine, having, Twitter on my phone and passing it around to people, showing them what's going on, because it'd be one of those things. Because from what I understand, WWE didn't say anything. I mean, they didn't make any announcement, commercial break, or anything.
Yeah, it's really cool to hear from a listener from the show who is actually in the arena and could actually kind of give us like that insider scoop.
Yeah, very cool. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. All right, so Captain Monotone on YouTube said, it's interesting. The interesting thing about Aries versus Hardy is that it's pretty much the internet's favorite versus the casual fans' favorite as far as how that feud is going. I can kind of agree with that, only because Hardy is more of a name than Austin Aries, and he's been around a lot longer. I think give Austin Aries time, and he'll make a real name for himself in TNA. I mean, what do you think, Rob? Real quick, and then we'll move on.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, Austin Aries is very popular with the internet crowd due to his indie showing. Jeff Hardy, the casual fan and everything knows. I think that's pretty dead on.
Okay. Lu2 Wins on YouTube said, Hardy going over Bully makes sense as far as in the Bound for Glory series. TNA wants to make Hardy look like a legitimate threat to Double H's title. As for the rest of the show, it had some good wrestling and lackluster storytelling. Hogan doesn't need to be in half the show to put heat on aces and eights at all. Yeah, I would agree with that. There was a thing that actually Captain Monotone said as well, that it seems weird that they would keep bringing Hogan back, and a lot of people were saying that they really shouldn't bring Hogan back.
Okay, Harrison. Well, here's the thing. I'm going to make a draft change here. I'm making a trade.
Sure,
yeah, I'm going to be dropping. I'm going to drop Jimmy Uso, and I want to pick up Tyson Kidd. I don't see him as being acquired right now on the individual rankings, so that is my pick.
If he's free, go for it. Okay.
Yeah, it looks like he's free.
Uso, picking up Tyson Kidd. I thought for sure someone had him. I thought Kevin had him.
I'm not seeing.
Nope, Kevin doesn't have him
anywhere.
Wow. Okay. All right, so there you go. All right, so now there's an Uso free if anybody wanted to pick him up. Malachi Burton, hopefully put in the chat so that Garvin has it. Malachi Burton 1234 on YouTube said most internet fans loved Hardy before he got caught up on drugs several times. I know he's made mistakes, but he's clean now. IWC needs to stop being stuck up and forgive him, and stop saying that only casual fans and kids like him. He's passionate about wrestling. This is what really throws me off here. Malachi has been a fan of Jeff Hardy since he was 3, and he's 16 now. The only reference I have for that is, as far as I'm aware, I mean, my nephew, when he was 3, he wasn't really into wrestling. So, I mean, just 3? I mean, that's hard.
Malachi grew up in a good household, and unlike you, Harrison. So,
I didn't really grow up in a house. I wasn't in a house when I was 3. But yeah, I just think it's interesting that he remembers who his favorite wrestler was at 3.
Were you in a teepee?
No, I was in a cardboard box.
Okay. So
that's interesting. If he can remember back that far, good on him.
Yeah, regardless, 13 years. First off, here's the thing. I mean, my viewpoint is it's not that It's not that Hardy is. I mean, it's not the drugs. It's not everything like that. The drugs are annoying because it shows disrespect for the, sliding off the wagon and that type of thing. It's the inconsistency. One thing that we keep bringing up on the show is that, Garvin and I went on about it last time, was how amazing he was, and then how it's not the same. And then Rob, you agree with us as well. The guy can put out quality work. It's just not consistent. It's just not consistently quality. Sometimes he'll have amazing, absolutely jaw-dropping matches, and you can say, this is the Hardy we all fell in love with. And then he just kind of has these matches where it's lackluster. He can't really perform on a regular basis.
And what Malachi is forgetting is that when he fell off the wagon this last time, he ruined a pay-per-view single-handedly. He came into the match and was so bad that Sting had to end the match quickly because the guy was just wasted off of his ass. The wrestling business itself does not forgive shit like that.
Yeah.
He is lucky he still has a job.
No, that's also a fair point. I mean, yeah, the guy has his personal demons and everything, and we can't really hate him for it. I mean, we can hate the effects of it, but at the same time, he does do quality stuff. It's just not consistent, and maybe that's part of the reason. It's
the big problem. My big problem with Jeff Hardy is my two big problems, I should say. One, he's not solid on the mic. Anytime he gets on the mic, he tries, but it's extremely awkward.
Well,
he relies way on the crowd.
What's that?
He relies heavily on the crowd.
Right, but it's like, hey, creatures of the night, and they're like, yeah.
And
then he spouts gibberish.
Right, it's like an Ultimate Warrior, but without the coherency. But
perfect. That's a perfect description of what I was trying to say, Joe. Thank you.
You're welcome. The other thing is that I think I would like to see him do a match without doing like he suffers from the 5 moves of Doom's. Syndrome where he's got moves he has to hit every match. But this is me speaking only as a wrestling fan. I like seeing guys who, they might have to hit those moves, but they do a lot of stuff that's out of the box, outside of a standard formula.
They're not coasting.
Right. And I feel that Jeff Hardy for a number of years has been coasting. And I like back when he was in WWE and he was facing CM Punk before he left. It was they did a lot of stuff that was out of the box and made Jeff look good. It made Punk look good. And they actually told an interesting story. If you're just going A plus B plus C plus D, forget it. You've lost me. Lost interest in the match.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Okay, so as you can see, I mean, Malachi, he is talented, but it's complicated. And the reasons we hate him are not because he caught up on drugs. I mean, it's just like it's not casual fans and kids like him. A lot of stuff. A lot of other people like him too. All right, so superstars. For superstars. The big thing for superstars is this is what you have to do for superstars. You have to go to our Facebook page. You have to log on there. Garvin got a hold of the YouTube link for the entire thing. Don't watch entire superstars. It was okay. It was an average superstar show.
WWE's YouTube channel gives that link out freely. It's not like he found it like it's secret. It's free. It's available for everyone.
It wasn't posted at the time when he got it up there. Anyway, the point is, watch it for Natalya versus Alicia Fox. This match, it's not like good for a Divas match. The amazing match out of these two. I mean, I watched it. I watched it basically twice. I mean, it was an amazing match. These two women put together spots that were just good. I mean, they had the crowd. The crowd got involved. Not right off the bat. I mean, Natalya had them going a little bit, but then Alicia and the crowd knew that they were watching something amazing, and it was a stellar match. Best Divas match in recent memory. But beyond that, it's just a phenomenal match in general. So you definitely have to at least watch Superstars, if only for that match. So yeah, definitely check it out. And I'm really hoping that Natalya and Alicia Fox get some kind of push out of this because, I mean, they're better than what's going on for the Divas division in Raw and SmackDown for right now. All right, so moving on to Impact. Rob, favorite thing about Impact? Go.
Zema Ion and Sanjay Dutt. Recently, since his return to TNA, every time I've seen Sanjay Dutt in the ring, he's been getting better and better. I mean, he's coming up with some awesome moves. I think him and Zema Ion are building a good feud. All in all, it was really quality. Outside of that, let's see. Outside of that, I really can't find anything too big. Most of it was just rematches from No Surrender. So,
what did you think to the main event, Joe? Rob, sorry, not Joe. God, I'm so sorry.
Hey, don't get the fans confused again and try and have them attack me because Rob says something.
I was looking at Joe's comment, and when I said, "I'm sorry, Rob,"
that's okay. Hardy and Bully Ray, I didn't think it was as good. We were talking earlier about Malachi, about Jeff Hardy turning in a stellar match and then phoning one in. This is a perfect example of what we're talking about. When he supposedly only had one shoulder against Bully Ray at No Surrender, he turned in a phenomenal match. I wasn't happy with him winning because of the push. I thought they pushed the superhuman aspect too much, but I could at least understand why he won because he put in a top-notch performance. He half-assed it this week against Bully Ray. It was nowhere near as good. Although, to his credit, Jeff Hardy did finally manage to hit the twist of fate correctly.
Hey! Golf clap.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing. All we got were emails. Too much Hogan. I mean, do you agree?
Yeah. You don't need Hogan to push the aces and eights thing. Austin Aries is pushing aces and eights better than Hogan is at the moment. Just send a pissed off Austin Aries down to the ring. I'm beginning to question why you need Hogan there all the time. Brooke Hogan I can kind of understand because aces and eights made a threat against her that they haven't been able to deliver on. But Hulk Hogan really isn't doing anything. He's just kind of treading water. He comes out, says pretty much the same kind of thing every week. It's time to get some new. If TNA wants to keep pushing this narrative of the entire TNA roster against aces and eights, they need to start bringing in other wrestlers. Start having Bully Ray. Start having Austin Aries. Start having other wrestlers get involved with it.
Okay. All right. So as far as okay, so the big thing that's going into next Thursday is James Storm and Bobby Roode. I mean, do you think that because this is the storyline that we've always been anticipating to be picked back up. Now it's going to start happening. Do you like where it's going?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, you've said it, and I've agreed with you. We backed it up that Bobby Roode and James Storm don't need the belt for their feud, and these guys are proving it. I mean, they're brawling all over the places. They're destroying the impact zone, sometimes literally, during their brawls. These guys are doing everything they need to do. They're really setting the bar high for their feud.
Well, do you think they're setting it too high, or do you think you like where it's? Are you happy with how it's progressing?
The only danger I see with how they're setting the bar is if Jeff Hardy isn't able to run with Austin Aries, which on the mic he isn't. I think that there's a danger that the Storm Roode feud could overshadow the world title feud.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, Roode and Storm are great. The storyline's awesome, but I don't know about that one.
Like I said, it's all up to Jeff Hardy. We know what Austin Aries can do on the mic. We know he can build a big match. The question is, will Jeff Hardy be able to keep pace and help him build a great Bound for Glory main event world title match?
Okay.
If he's not able to do that, there's going to be trouble.
Okay. Last question before we kick out. Hardy versus Bully Ray is basically a rematch, but it's a rematch that Hardy won for the chance to get the title. So, I mean, do you think it weakens the Bound for Glory series by having that?
Not really, because with the circumstances around it, I can see why they would do the rematch. I mean, you had the injury. It's in Bully Ray's character to try to intimidate and try to get something like that. So I see it more as kind of helping Bully Ray out than anything else, even though he didn't win. Mm-hmm. But it didn't really bother me, especially since Hardy ended up winning anyways and keeping his title shot.
Okay, that's fair. Chad's saying James Storm versus Robert Roode and Jeff Hardy versus Austin Aries. Those two matches are going to tear down Bound for Glory. I completely agree. I mean, those two matches alone are worth the price for Bound for Glory.
Yes, I'd agree with that. Hopefully, Jeff Hardy will be will turn in a good match. I have faith that he will. He usually steps up in world title situations, so I'm hoping that we see a good match. But yeah,
Okay.
I'd agree that those two matches alone are going to be worth the pay-per-view buy.
All right. Chat's saying two things. One, Hardy on the mic is about as bad as Del Rio. I don't think. Well,
I don't know if it's
I don't think
that
Del
bad.
Rio's that bad.
Yeah.
I don't know if Jeff Hardy gets that bad on the mic, but there are times where he gets close. There are a lot of times where you put him on the mic and he really doesn't say anything.
See,
And
Rob, I find it to be the other way around. I find Del Rio to be the better talker. I'm not talking by a huge margin here, but I think a lot of people, while Del Rio does say the same thing over and over, and sometimes it's hard to understand him with the accent, and sometimes some Spanish. I think Jeff Hardy just has the Ultimate Warrior syndrome. It just he does not say anything. It's like Eugene being the Ultimate Warrior.
yeah, I was just about to say, I was like, the only thing that's stopping Jeff Hardy from having full-blown Ultimate Warrior syndrome is that he doesn't say Hulk Hogan 500 million times during a promo.
Yeah. I mean, keep in mind, Del Rio English is also his second language. Chat wants to ask you, Rob, do you think that Jeff Hardy will turn heel again, like he did 2 years ago at Bound for Glory?
That's actually a good question. I don't see it. Jeff Hardy as a face is making a lot of money. If any one of them are going to turn heel, I would not be surprised if Austin Aries turns heel.
Wow, really? Okay.
I totally agree with you, Rob. Maybe not Aries, but Hardy as a heel just didn't work. It was so awkward, and you still had so much cheering for him when they were trying so hard to get people to boo him.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. It just does not work. Jeff Hardy as a heel. No way.
Jeff Hardy as a face is a merchandise machine.
Yeah, he's a license to print money. All right, time to move on to SmackDown. But before we get there, we do have a trade to announce. McBrad's95 on Twitter traded Mark Henry for Drew McIntyre. So now Mark Henry is on the the draft board, free agents list.
Yeah, I
Anyway.
don't think it matters. I don't think anybody's going
No one's going to pick up Mark Henry. All right, anyway, Joe, SmackDown. What was your favorite thing about SmackDown?
Favorite thing about SmackDown? The hilarity that is Sin Cara and Miz. Especially because of the internet. Only, we've got Sin Cara, who's known for botching. You get all the damn it Miz botch stuff. It's all over. I mean, just slapped it all over the place. I like the fact that they put those two guys together, and the internet memes have gone crazy. Outside of that, Orton beating Tensai, meh. I don't get Orton winning. I would like to see them push Tensai, so I was a little awkward with that. I did like the Wade Barrett promo. That was cool to see. The banning of the Brogue Kick.
Yeah.
Didn't we already do this?
Yeah.
Such a stupid angle.
Yeah, it's...
it further degrades at Night of Champions, but we'll get to that in a second. But, Sheamus beating Daniel Bryan, don't like it. I'd like to see Daniel Bryan get a better push. Loving Daniel Bryan's character, though. Just the yes-no thing. Really? Who'd have thought, if you look back, you wouldn't look at Daniel Bryan and go, that's a guy who can make yes and no huge chance. Especially when he's in a video with Paul London when they were tag team in ROH, off their asses, and all he's doing is giggling.
Yeah, that is so. And look at that and think that's the guy who's going to team with Kane and be the most exciting thing to happen to the tag division since the 80s.
That is not the most exciting thing to happen to the tag division since the 80s.
Oh, what then?
I don't know. You could go with, Road Warriors going to WWE as a Legion of Doom. Huh? That was the 90s, bitch. Okay, so...
It was like early 90s. Okay, that's fair
Team
enough.
3D, the Dudley Boys in the 90s.
Dudley Boys. Yep, late 90s.
Oh, they were... No. They were
on.
a shadow of who they were in ECW.
But they were still much better than any tag team in the WWE.
Yeah, you just stuck your foot in your mouth.
All right, fine. Since the early 90s.
No, do you want
Still got the Dudleys. But yeah,
I still
they're an entertaining tag team. I don't think they're one of the best tag teams since, the birth of Christ, as you're declaring them.
Well, if I believed that, no, anyway, no, Kane and Bryan, come on, you can't tell me that those guys haven't reinvigorated the division. I mean, other than that, it was us talking about, like the Usos, and, it was clear that they weren't really interested. It was clear that WWE were not really interested in the division, and then these two come along and basically take it from what was a little bit better than the Divas division into, okay, now we got to see the tag matches.
No, they didn't invigorate the tag division. They reinvigorated Kane and Daniel Bryan, who are using the tag division just as a stepping stone for their storyline.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
But it's fun, though.
Far from. I'm not saying that it's not fun. I'm just saying that it doesn't. In the long term, I don't think it really helps the tag division.
I think you're wrong, because everyone, is starting to care about Bryan and Kane. So,
but they're not giving a damn about anybody else who's involved.
Primetime players are getting some heat.
Yeah, and
Titus O'Neil's doing an amazing job.
Yeah, exactly. And the primetime. Let's go, not the primetime players. I can't remember who the hell I was going to say now.
That's okay.
Oh yeah, Kofi and R-Truth. If you split them up, perfect.
But the problem is, and I think what Joe's trying to say, it's definitely one of the views that I have, is that Daniel Bryan and Kane are never going to be as good as, like I said earlier, the Dudley Boys, the Road Warriors, Edge and Christian, the Hardy Boys, even the Rock and Sock Connection, Mankind and The Rock. They all contributed much more to the tag team division. The New Age Outlaws from DX. Teams like these really added to the tag division. They really carried it and put it on another level. I don't see Bryan and Kane being able to do that.
I don't see them doing it either, but you know what? If they do leave them in the tag division and actually have some great back and forths with other tag teams and actually do something to truly develop. I mean, I'm talking about 6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you can actually keep the tag division interesting, the whole division, not just one team, if they can be a part of that, then I consider it a success, and I don't know, eat a taco on the air.
You can't compare Kane and Bryan to the Dudleys or the Hardys or whatever from 2Fit, because it's a completely different era now.
Yeah, I think, Lee, I think you're right. I think the thing that Kane and Daniel Bryan are really going to do for the tag division is make it much more segment-based, and then it's going to be a lot more about ring work and working off of each other. I'm not ring work. It's going to be a lot more about mic work than it will be about ring work. Because you can say what you want about Team 3D, the Dudleys, the Hardy Boys. All those guys were amazing in the ring, but their mic work was terrible. But then you look at Rock and Sock.
Whoa, Harrison, time out. No. You're going to say bully
so just move on.
No, you're going to say, you're flat out saying that Kane is better on the mic than fucking Bubba Ray?
Or Loss? Or Edge Christian?
Hey guys, do you understand? Okay, real quick, class, real quick. Do you understand the phrase "the forest for the trees"?
No.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point being,
random bullshit and act like it's a real point.
The point is, Kane and Daniel Bryan are going to make this more about segments and mic work than they will about ring work. Because look at the primetime players, Titus O'Neil and Darren Young. Arguably, Titus is much better on the mic than Darren is, but they're making a name for themselves not in the ring, but in segments and mic work. I mean, look at Raw.
They're doing it in both though. That's the thing. Like there was a time where a tag team could come in, and you've got it with the Usos, you've got it with the primetime players, you've got it with sort of with Epico and Primo, where teams come in as a team and get notoriety, as opposed to just slapping two guys together to push their storylines for 2-3 months. And that's what they're going to end up doing. And that's a real drag to the tag division, because you're basically shitting on actual tag teams to tell this other story. I'm not saying that's not entertaining,
I disagree though, because Kane and Bryan are both very, very good wrestlers. You can't just say slapping them together is going to make it worse, because the two guys are great wrestlers.
But you're missing the point, Lee. The point is
No,
that the tag team wrestling is being used to push Kane and Daniel Bryan. It's not being it's not helping out the tag division in any other way. It's just these two guys are being put together as a team to help push their individual storyline.
I'm hoping we end up being wrong, but I really feel that Rob and I are correct.
No, you are wrong. No, you are wrong, because then they've got Rey and Sin Cara building up their tag team. They had primetime players attacking them. That's advanced the tag work there. Daniel Bryan and Kane are advancing it by holding the titles. People know they're the tag team champions. It's going to get more distinction with them being champions because everyone knows it.
Right.
Plus,
but what I'm saying. Go ahead.
Plus, on the fact that Daniel Bryan and Kane are using the end of their matches, he's chokeslamming him on top of the opponent, and it's fun because they're finishing matches by chokeslamming each other or finishing, and that's adding to the ring work of it as well. That is their finisher, which is good fun.
Right. Chet is saying, they're so far ahead of every other team in the division. It worked for Rock and Mankind. It arguably better than Kofi and Truth as far as being tag champions. But I do want to point this out. We've been discussing this for 9 minutes. We've been discussing SmackDown for 9 minutes. 7 of that has been about the tag division.
That's fine.
Now, just
and
one
that's
more
more time than the WWE has devoted to the tag division in God knows how long.
Exactly. Point being, we're talking about the tag division for 7 minutes. We haven't done that when Kofi and R-Truth are running it.
That is a great point, because Kofi and R-Truth have done nothing for the belts. Yet they've impressed kids. They brought out crap merchandise, whatever. That's fair enough. But they've done nothing.
I agree with you on that.
Yeah, so who would you rather have? No, but who would you rather have as tag champions? Kofi and Truth, or Kane and Bryan?
I'd rather have.
I think it's a moot point.
It's a moot point. What Joe and I are trying to say is that we'd rather have an actual tag team.
Yes, but
like
you
Edge and
can't
Christian or the Hardy Boys or somebody like that, rather than two wrestlers who are just picked, like Kofi and R-Truth, or
Lee. I'll give you Lee. Let me jump.
And Daniel Bryan.
Okay, Lee. Let me jump in here real quick.
Okay.
I understand that in the short term, people are interested. My big complaint is if they're not going to keep these guys together for a long time, like 6 to 8 months. I feel in the grand scheme it hurts the tag division because you're then mostly focusing on their storyline. The Sin Cara Rey Mysterio thing, I think actually that pairing isn't bad because Rey can give Sin Cara some skills. They have an interest together. They're a lucha tag team, and we haven't seen a whole lot of them. So maybe they can actually help each other, especially if Rey stays in the division. I think when you get two singles wrestlers and you team them together for 2 to 3, 1 to 3 months, and then you slap the title on them and then you rip it off shortly thereafter, and then they're split up and they're never in the tag team division again together. I think that's what hurts, and I want to see if they're going to do these pairings like singles wrestler and singles wrestler. I want to see that go on for a long time to help build the division and see other teams like the Primetime Players or the Usos actually get over and have a 2 month long feud with Kane and Daniel Bryan. You know what I'm saying?
But the problem you have is you want the Primetime Players as such to be champions, but they're not over. That you can't compare them to Edge and Christian or the Hardys or the Dudleys because they were over with the crowd. They were, they wanted to cheer for them. They are not. The Primetime Players are not over with the crowd yet. They're getting there, but they're not over. So if you put the tag belts on them, it's going to go back to the same process of not giving a damn. Whereas Bryan and Kane are over with this gimmick, so put the tag titles over at the same time.
But nobody cares that they're the tag team champions.
They do.
People are. No, they don't.
They do.
No. Serious? They're screaming.
No. Rob's got a good point. The fact that just because these two guys it doesn't have anything to do. If they were doing this exact same thing, but the title was not involved, it would still be drawing the same as if the titles weren't on them.
But what is their latest chant? Their latest chant is, I am the tag team champion. I am the tag team champion. I am the tag team champion. They are making it. They are making points to it.
You're wrong. It's tag team champions. It's plural.
It's champion champ. Okay, yeah, deal. But
Oh, I thought that was the accent.
but it's not. They're not. They are drawing to it.
Here-
they are pointing this out clearly. They're
Here's
not
the
doing.
thing. Chad has it right. Primetime players seem forced on WWE. Kane and Daniel Bryan have the ability to boost others around them. That's what's going to be interesting to see. They're also saying the longer with Team Hell No open doors for many great moments and great storylines with other tag teams in the division. I think
that's why I'm saying it needs to stick around for a longer time. That's all I'm saying.
The point, no, it could be a month. The point is, however long they're together, they could have opportunity because now the tag belts are a lightning rod that you want to see stuff happen to. Now they have an opportunity to take tag teams like Primetime Players, which I think really do deserve the push that, well, they really deserve the push that they're kind of getting, and it needs to go harder. But that you can build around that, because you're right, they are going to have to take the belts off of them, but hopefully they don't just strip the belts off of them and give it to Rey and Sakara, which is probably what's going to happen. If they can somehow incorporate other tag teams into that storyline, the tag division becomes a lot more interesting, which is why I think it's going to be more segment and mic work based as opposed to amazing stuff in the ring.
And because of the fact that this is now what has been in speech marks the PG era.
Yeah.
It's a different, they have to do different things. They just have to, because this is not, you can't go flying through tables, jumping off ladders anymore. They've got to find different ways to do it.
You don't have to. You don't have to go flying off of tables or ladders or whatnot to entertain the crowd.
But the last time aggressive,
the Hardy Boys and Edge and Christian, teams like that, they had chemistry before those gimmicks were brought in. They were good. They made contributions. They were solid tag teams before the WWE went to gimmicks like that. But what I'm saying is the same thing Joe's saying. I hope I'm wrong about this, but there have to. If you want to make this work, you've got to keep these guys together a little bit longer and give them a chance to do what Harrison said and draw. And the chat room, I think, also said this too. Draw more people to either draw in actual tag teams, do something. If this is just a short-term thing, it's not going to help the tag team division.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Joe, you get final word, and then we're going to move on to the Night of Champions.
Yeah. Okay. I'll try and keep this short.
Okay.
I think we're Kane and Daniel Bryan. I think can be good for the tag team division if they stick together for a long time and really do involve those other tag teams like you guys had mentioned. I think if, like Rob said, if they're going to be pulled apart within a month, like Harrison had said, or, within 2 months, I think in the long term, it hurts the division, even though it's bringing attention for the short term, because then they can just go back to forgetting what the tag team division was like they had for a while. So it could be good, but yeah,
Okay, cool. All right, time for Night of Champions. First off, we just gotta throw it out there. Best pay-per-view in 6 months. Right? Anybody disagree with that?
Anybody?
No? Cool. All right. I was hoping for more agreement, but that's cool.
Sorry, right. My mic was muted. Sorry, I was talking.
Joe.
Sorry.
It was a fantastic pay-per-view. The thing is, though, I want to kick this out to you guys before we actually, because we're not going to have time to go through the card. I want to kick this to you guys. I was actually at a bar with Mike from PW Torch. I did not get to hear Cole and JBL on the mic because they had the Lions-Niners game at the same time. How good was JBL? Because all it was on Twitter was how good he was. Was Cole and JBL really that good?
Very, very good. JBL clicked right in. We were just. It was brilliant. JBL, he just came back. It's a proper colour commentator. He was making points. He was pushing matches. He pushed the Divas match. That's how bloody good it was. He focused on the important things. This has been missing for months and months in the WWE, and he really, really made the match feel special. As did Cole, but, they have chemistry. I think Cole is better with JBL than anybody else.
Joe, Rob, you agree?
Yeah, and I think this is why you see companies like the WWE, like TNA, they try to get that former wrestler as the color commentator, because if you pick the right guy, if you pick the right former wrestler, they can really add a lot of color commentary. They can really push matches. They know what they need to do to make a match sound interesting, and paired with a guy like Cole, who likes to tell a narrative of his own too, I think JBL really worked. The two made a fantastic team.
Okay, so we have the YouTube pre-show. Zack Ryder got the big push in the Battle Royale. Basically, it was just the Battle Royale was essentially just a grab bag of mid-carders we haven't seen in a while. But Zack Ryder gets the big push, only to then, like we all thought, lose to Antonio Cesaro. I mean, he got the push on Raw. I mean, do you think this is kind of like a new reinvigoration of Zack Ryder, or do you think it was like someone had to take the dive, they picked Zack?
I think they looked at, if you go through the people who are in it, there's only really about 3 people who could have won. But you've got to kick off with the fact that Antonio Cesaro is a heel. So it's automatically going to be a face. So that eliminates all the heels. So you're down to Brodus Clay, Santino, and Zack Ryder. As soon as Santino and Brodus Clay went out, Zack Ryder stepped up. And nothing's changed about Zack Ryder. Like, I don't know what he has to do, but for me, he's boring me. And it's not because it's the same old, he's just not getting over anymore as far as I'm concerned.
All right, that's fair. All right, so first off, I'm sorry, we do actually have time. I thought we were going to have more discussion about the commentary. All right, so Intercontinental Championship, Miz, Joe and Garvin, I don't know why you guys, or even Mike, didn't pick Miz for this. I mean, he just got the belt. But, yeah, Miz got over. I don't know. Mike and I were watching this, and I did not like the form. It really should have been an elimination match.
Well,
it was good in the beginning. It was good at the end, and then like every 4-way match they do, it just turns into these two guys get a few minutes, so everybody else gets to rest. These two guys get a few minutes, so the other two can rest, and it just kind of went through that. I'd rather repeat an elimination match or first person to pin Miz or something. It lacked a hook for me. It was just kind of like I don't know.
The reason they went for it though is because Rey and Sin Cara are in there and they can do all the high flying stuff, and it opened the pay-per-view, so to get the crowd warmed up a little bit, pretty much.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair enough. I do want to bring up, chat said, can't say it's the best pay-per-view, but it was good. Night of Champions was better than WrestleMania, and JBL was awesome. I don't know if it was better than WrestleMania, but JBL apparently was great. Only the main event, everything else was meh. Commentary of the year, JBL is much needed on the team. Man, I feel pissed. I missed all this. Agree with the fact that, I saw him on Raw, so he was great on that. Agree with the fact that Cole is better with JBL. Yeah, he was definitely on Raw. And if that's the case on the pay-per-view, sure. Bradshaw knows what points to make and doesn't have to play the crowd like King often does. That's true, too. And Miz won that match blindfolded. I personally love the way that match ended.
Yeah,
it was mask on him. Yeah, it was good. It was creative.
It was just clever.
Yeah, it was really, really clever. The fact that Sin Cara busted that out to get Cody, but instead it lands on Miz, and Miz wins with it on his face. That was awesome. Tag team championships. Every single one of us picked Kane and Bryan. Every single one of us was right, and this match did not disappoint. And man, you knew once they got those belts that Kane and Bryan knew they had something special, and they started doing I am the tag team champions. I mean, they are on a tear with this storyline.
Yeah, we've just talked about them, but yeah, Kane and Bryan, they deserved it. You could tell as soon as you came out when Truth and Kofi, they didn't look normally, all the happy in themselves, and then the crowd were booing, actually booing, Truth and Kofi anytime they got any kind of offense in. So it was just like, yeah, if they don't, yeah, they booed him. Yeah, they booed him.
That's insane.
So it's just, so it's silly, but it was the right call. It was definitely the right call.
Oh, Rob, you agree?
Yeah, I think so. It was a good match, and Kane and Bryan definitely the right call to win here. Like we said earlier in the tag team debate, I hope Kane and Bryan get a nice long run to try to rebuild the tag team division.
Okay, the question I have for you guys is, what happened in the segment afterwards?
Kane literally said, "I want to go to Disneyland." And which was hilarious. And then Kane literally just threw about a 10-liter load of Gatorade over Bryan, who just stood there drenched. But that wasn't the best thing. The best thing was it managed to get AJ as well, and AJ's just stood there, and it's it was.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I didn't know what Kane said though. I'm like, what did Kane say? Why? I mean, okay, I'm going to Disneyland. Oh man, I hope they get video of that. Chet saying I love JBL's comments about Little Jimmy. We need a Kofi heel turn where he gets fed up with the Little Jimmy bullshit.
Agreed. No, I agree. I don't know who said that. But agree.
Antonio Cesaro beat Zack Ryder, which no one's surprised, to retain the belt. I mean, I love Cesaro's great in the ring, but I'm just getting tired of this gimmick.
Yeah, dude, that gimmick hasn't been around for very long.
I mean, it's just not doing anything for me. It's just he's coming out, he's saying whatever the 5 words were. I don't know what he said then, but it's just he's amazing in the ring. But I just feel like it's just kind of weak.
That's what you do when you team a international guy up with a international valet, and neither of them. Oh, he speaks good English. She's right, but the gimmick works. It's kind of like Tensai, but Tensai without the background of being Albert.
Yeah, that really hurts.
People aren't behind. You're getting a similar reaction. That it is good. It's very good, but the people aren't giving it a shot.
Well, then if the people aren't giving it a shot, that's not very good. I mean, yeah, I can see what you're saying.
You could build the DeLorean. There's a reason the DeLorean didn't stick around, man.
No, the DeLorean was a shit car. Looked great. It was a crap car. That stupid Renault engine. Oh, anyway, all right. So Randy Orton beating Dolph Ziggler. Yeah, this was one of those things where after it happens, everybody kind of brought up the point. Orton's going to shoot his movie. It makes sense to have him leave on a high note. Get them rubber match with Dolph Ziggler so we have something to come back to. Yeah.
I loved this. This was a brilliant match.
Yeah, because you predicted
really
it.
Was. Well, yeah, I predicted it. We'll get to predictions in a minute, but like it was a brilliant match. Orton worked well off Ziggler. Ziggler sold everything Orton gave him as per. And Orton had to come out the winner, but it worked. It was brilliant.
Well, I mean, what do you think, Rob? Agree or disagree?
I'm not a big Randy Orton fan. I'll admit that there's a lot of personal bias as to why I'm not a Randy Orton fan. But I thought Ziggler should have won the match, especially with Orton leaving to go film his movie and everything.
Yeah.
The match was pretty good. It was okay, but I don't agree with the logic WWE used in ending the match with Orton as the winner.
See, the only thing I can think of is that they're going to do a rubber match, but we'll see Ziggler do something to Orton in the short term to injure him to get him out so he can do the movie, and then when he comes back, they can have the feud.
Yeah, that's probably where they're going with it. I just figured they would have done that at the pay-per-view. But it makes sense because he's not leaving to shoot until next week.
Yeah, it could be next week or even the week after. So yeah, the one thing that Randy Orton that wasn't very smart was stick a middle finger up at the crowd. That wasn't very sensible.
Oh, he was just telling them that they're number one. Divas match. Caitlyn basically got Nancy Kerrigan before the match. I take it she got hit, and then Eve steps in, and now she's taking on Layla, wins and drops the title. So, I mean, what do you guys think about that storyline? Or that story, but that twist.
This was reported weeks ago. They said, Caitlyn wasn't supposed to win anyway. It was supposed to be Eve who won. So this just confirmed it for me. And then as soon as she was down, you knew exactly who did it, and you knew exactly who was going to face Layla. And the minute they said that Eve was, versing Layla, she was going to win all the way. Caitlyn wouldn't have won against Layla, but Eve was that was the game plan from day one, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, Rob, you agree?
Yeah, I agree. To me, this looks like the WWE correcting a mistake. But at the same point in time, it's also an admission that they made a mistake in the first place. I would have just gone and I don't know. I mean, maybe throwing Eve out there was probably the best call, given the fact that your other choice is to keep the belt on Layla.
Yeah, good point. But now Layla is on the crusade to try and get the belt back. Chad's saying Divas match should have been a triple threat match. I don't know. I mean, if you're going to say that, well, who would be the third? Caitlyn would be the third? I don't see how that really fits exactly. Well, she's injured, though. That's why Eve is in the match.
Yeah. There was something about the Divas match, though. The fact that Eve won so consistently. Like, normally, you'd get the whole, Layla's coming back, she's going to do it. It wasn't like that at all. It was literally Eve dominating.
Yeah, she did a good job, too.
It was, yes.
It looked like a great match. I mean, I'm sure JBL must have put it over like crazy, if that's all. I mean, that's what everybody was saying on Twitter. Chet saying Eve could not have hit Caitlyn, though. She was being annoyed by the primetime players at the time. It's so convoluted, she's going to have a hit, man. Yeah, it's just a question of who that's going to be. It'll be interesting to see. All right, so world title match. Sheamus beats Del Rio yet again. Bro kick, I guess, was reinstated. From what I understand,
that ruined the match. It really did.
Yeah, I mean, go on.
I was just gonna say it completely ruined the match. Why after 9 days did Booker T come out and say, "Oh, bro kick's back now"? Why? Just why? What was the point? And then he wins with a bro kick. It was such a waste of time.
What was his?
I agree, dude. They didn't give it.
They didn't give any reasoning? It wasn't like, it's wrong for us to ban moves like this?
No, it was just Booker T came out and said, I've finished my investigation, you're fine, you can use it again. Really?
Right. What they should have done, if they're going to bring the bro kick back that quickly, they should have had Alberto Del Rio win.
Yeah.
Because then it didn't matter if it came back.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Because at the start of the match, when you think, oh, the kick's back, you think, oh, well, this means, Sheamus is full advantage now, so maybe Del Rio's going to get a little shot. But no, nothing. Weird.
No, that's fair. Okay, so as far as Sheamus and for what it was a good match. I'm really tired of Sheamus versus Del Rio, and I hope this was the last time.
Yeah, it was a good match. Sheamus was being booed, like mad, like big
Really?
boos, not like small boos, big boos.
Like Cena boos?
Like it was a Cena reception. It was like, some people, the kids cheered him, and the guys were just like, booing the hell out of him. So, but you can see why though, can't you? Because he doesn't lose. Like, yeah, it's good for my draft, but in reality, it's like,
yeah, he's getting you in first place, buddy.
Yeah, but it is crap though. You don't want to see Sheamus win every day. I don't want to see that. I think that's boring, and it's predictable. That's why no one's betting against Sheamus now.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. But I mean, I just, like the chat's saying, I mean, just let it be the last one. Sheamus versus Del Rio is getting so tired.
Oh, if they do that again, honest to God, I'm giving up wrestling because they cannot do another one. They cannot. They've got to move on.
Yeah, I think, yeah. All right, so, chat's saying Sheamus brings nothing to the title. Give Del Rio the title and push someone else. It's getting so dull watching them two. Hell in a Cell, Sheamus versus Del Rio. I really hope not.
No.
But I do like the idea of, like Joe was saying, bro kick puts back, Del Rio still wins. I mean, that'd be a huge push for Del Rio. And chat's saying Big Show is next up to face Sheamus for the world title. I hope so, because he's in my team. All right, so moving on. Oh, and no Ziggler cash. Mistake or no?
No. It wasn't a mistake. No, they shouldn't have done it there. It was too small a pay-per-view. They're going to do this big if they're going to do it.
Okay, so you're thinking big. I can agree with that. That was something Mike and I were talking about. That at this point, it's been so long, it's going to have to be something huge. Rob, you agree with that?
Yeah. Night of Champions was a bad place for it. I would, especially with Ziggler losing earlier on in the night. It makes more sense for them to wait.
Okay, makes sense. And here we are, WWE title, CM Punk versus John Cena. We all picked Punk, and we were half right.
Yeah, we were right. He walked out.
He did walk out with the belt. Yeah, that's right. He did walk out with the belt. I was sincerely impressed with this match. Although I thought, really, I don't understand why Heyman was ringside. I still don't get why Heyman's ringside.
It was just to cause that little bit of intrigue, and Heyman came out first to stop everyone cheering Punk when he came out, because, wearing the little New York Yankees little shorts was just absolute genius, because I had no idea, but obviously I was told. But that's a genius thing, just small little things. And it's just putting more heels. His reactions were brilliant as well. They keep, going to a shot of him at ringside, and it was just like, Jesus Christ, thank God. Oh, thank God. No, and he added just, a little bit of reality as such.
Okay, so
I can see that. I can see that. He's like a bowl of cold water. My point is, I don't get why he's ringside. Why couldn't they put him on the mic? Why not make him call the match? I thought it would have been awesome. Anyway, Joe, you were saying?
No, I was going to jump in on the trunks thing.
Okay,
the reason why you're not hold on, Harrison. The reason why you're not seeing Punk wearing pink anymore is because they've started this breast cancer, the Susan G. Komen for the Cure thing.
Yeah.
They're doing this partnership and raising awareness, which is great. You saw the pink ropes, but you don't put the thing you're trying to push as a positive thing on the heel. So you take the pink off of him. If you notice, Damian Sandow hasn't been wearing pink. Like Kevin said, and if you look at John Cena's shirt, it was Rise Above Cancer because, as Kevin said, how did he say it? Oh yeah, because you can't see cancer is not a good slogan.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Is it wrong to do that though? I know, it's I know it's breast cancer and all, but does it really matter if Dolph wears pink? It's not like it's not the end of the world.
It's a subliminal thing.
Yeah, it is, but Joe's right.
But then they show like David Otunga and Mark Henry and all the heels going to these be a star conventions.
That's different though. I mean, WWE has they did Mark Henry hasn't been out there. I don't remember seeing David Otunga at the Be a Star thing. I thought they were really pushing Big Show.
Problem with David Otunga is he causes cancer.
All right, so Chet's saying Punk versus Cena works so well. It's like a clash of eras. 10 years is an era. Well, I guess it technically is an era. Heyman was there for the facials during the match. Ayo. They should have given Heyman the AW mic. That would have been great. I just really wanted Heyman ringside with JBL and God damn it. Really? Anyway, he should have been ringside calling the match. I thought it would have been fantastic.
Cool.
I couldn't have heard it, but I sure would have been.
Cole and JR.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Cole, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think it would have been great. I mean, Heyman used to call matches. That's originally why I thought he was coming out. And then he's standing there. He could have at least, gave Punk signals like a third base coach. All right, so here we are. Night of Champions predictions. Lee, you won. Let's move on.
Who won?
I already told you. Let's move on. Now it's time for you to talk about Raw. You won. God damn it, you're in the lead in everything now.
That was the third pay-per-view in a row that I won, by the way.
Yes, it's the third pay-per-view in a row that you won.
Yeah. So Raw opened up with Heyman came out first and talked about the referee's decision. WWE apparently need to use a camera phone now to show footage, which was bizarre. It was filmed by WWE, but pretended. Why? They have so many different camera angles. Why didn't they just pretend to use it doesn't matter anyway. And then
it makes sense. Well, the throwaway thing of Cena pulling it, like that was the intrigue that lasted all of 2 minutes, and then we all realized what a stupid idea that is. I mean, I guess that would be a reason why.
Yeah. Well, anyway, the main segment focused on the referees, and the referees were a big part of the show. So Chad Patton, said he made the right call, which he did, and then they set up the quote-unquote super main event, which wasn't that super. Anyway, what is it? Sin Cara, Rey Mysterio beat Epico and Primo. Great match. I loved it. Primetime players with a post-match attack. Again, I loved it. I thought it advanced a lot. And then it got a bit... Then I thought it got a bit boring, There was Eve and Beth, which is okay, and then Brodus Clay versus Slater, which no one really cared about. Let's be honest. And then the big destroyer of the night for me was Miz TV.
Debuted!
No, it didn't debut. This has been done before.
No, debuted, man. They said it right there on Raw. They said that Miz TV, the first edition, with the logo that looked much better the first time they did it.
Exactly.
No way.
Oh, yeah. Because it was MTV.
The last time they used the Miz M that they used in his Titantron at that time.
Yeah, it fit better. Well, I guess with the upside down, I don't know. Well, regardless, anyway. Lee, was this debut better than the first debut?
No, this was terrible. Miz just he killed it for me. He really killed it. And Booker T, and that wasn't the only thing that was interesting about it. Was Ryback just tearing the hell out of the set. You know, I like the idea of Ryback finally getting into a feud. And IC title with Miz, fair enough. Let him work.
Lee, do you think they're going to go with a decent back and forth between these two, or is it basically going to be like when they finally get into it, Ryback destroys them?
I hope they're in for a feud. I would hope that Ryback wins via DQ, so then it keeps his streak going. Because I don't think they want him to lose so soon yet, no matter, even though it's been 5 months. I can see Miz winning via DQ a couple of times, and then maybe they'll kill it off. Either way, it's better for Ryback rather than just jobbing every week. I mean, he needs to get over a different way now.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So Wade Barrett. The question I have for you, Lee, I wanted to ask you: does it seem like Wade Barrett's accent is different than it was the first time?
No, it's not different at all.
Oh, okay.
It
just
not.
sounds more. I don't know. I mean, it sounds like he's trying to do the more back alley snatch type of thing. You know, not Cockney exactly, but yeah, something like that. Yeah, a little more. I don't know, street.
No, it's just. I think to be honest, it's more of his look that's trying to get him more. You know, as a rough guy as such. You know, the beard's growing. You know, he's doing his punch movements and stuff. You know, and I'm not sure. I like Wade Barrett, and I think he could be massive, but. Why they could just have him as this guy who, you know, led a stable, did some fantastic mic work, wrestled well. You know, he doesn't need to be this guy, and I think the gimmicks he could be wrong, to be honest, for Barrett.
Really? Because I kind of like the gimmick. I thought it was pretty good. Although you gotta admit, crowd chanting "We want Nexus."
Well, someone noted it was the same arena when Nexus, you know, attacked Vince. I think it was, which was weird, but. Well, I liked the Nexus, but I don't know. I would rather. I tell you what, I would like Wade Barrett to get the Nexus music. We Are One. That was brilliant.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah. Although I mean, this fits a little bit better with his character, and I kind of like to turn his character to like the sort of British back alley brawl thing. We had the Subway commercial. I do want to bring this up. Chat brought it up too. That they liked on Raw. Ryback grabbing 2 sandwiches. I gotta be honest, that made me laugh.
Yeah, it was quite funny. Jared, it took me a minute to realize who he was, but yeah, it was good fun, and it was a little promotion, you know, that they did. So fair enough.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about Jared coming back. Really, someone needed to choke slam him through a table. Then maybe slap him with a sub.
He's there just because, you know, he's the face of Subway essentially, so just to get the name out there again.
Yeah, that makes sense. Chet's saying the only part from that they liked was Team Hell No. Yeah, that was great. I liked it was a good Raw. There wasn't really a big thing, but it was just a normal Raw with good matches. Yeah, I mean it was a pay-per-view 24 hours ago, but it's not going to be spectacular. Ryder versus Sandown was pretty good. I wish WWE would build this up as these two could be a big mid-card feud. Those two working together definitely have a great chemistry going. They can't keep Ryback winning if he wants to lose the Goldberg-ness on him. Regarding Wade Barrett, I got to be honest, this too, that punch looks stiff.
That's the point.
Yeah, it was meant to look stiff.
Yeah, but it was like solid. I had to watch it again because I was like, damn, they did a really good job as far as not only the camera angle, the cut, and the everything about it was perfect. They're doing a really good job with that. And they're saying he's being booked from Preston, England, and not Manchester, England, which is a huge deal?
It's not. Honestly, it's not that far at all. I have to go down to Preston pretty much every time to see the lady, but it's not far at all. There's about half an hour in it, if that.
Wait, to see the lady?
There's only one lady in England?
You seeing a prostitute?
I am not like Garb, all right?
Wow. Okay.
So anyway, But no, I mean Raw. Let me just jump in here real quick. The Raw as a whole, to me, I thought was pretty meh. I didn't feel there was a lot there to hook the viewer, like coming off the pay per view. Like we had the Cena Punk thing, but that really wasn't around enough in the show. That, I mean, they needed other things to hook the viewer, and I don't feel they accomplished that with this show.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Joe. Usually coming out of something like this, especially a pay-per-view with so many awesome jumping points on that, they really didn't do much to kind of push it. I mean, even the Divas division with the whole thing, there was very little talk. It was just Layla going, some friction between Layla and Eve. And yeah, you're right. There really wasn't a whole lot there as to push off on and kind of really take that energy from the pay-per-view and keep it going into the next week. And I really can't figure it down to one thing. It felt like, yeah, like you're saying, the whole show was kind of like that.
There was one. Sorry, there was one problem with it. The first thing was the audience were terrible, like really bad. They didn't. Yeah. They hardly reacted to anything. Secondly, the show is 3 hours long. I'm not kidding. No, there's points. There's points where yes, it's good and it flows. First 1.5 hours flow well, but then it just you start to feel it, and you can start to see where they've added bits in. They've extended matches. You can see it.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Well, Lee, I don't think there's a problem with longer matches if but if you're doing a match that isn't just by looking at the competitors in the match that you don't know is already extremely predetermined.
Yeah, and to the fact that these matches are more house show matches than there are, TV matches to make it entertaining, which is I don't like it, and ratings show it as well. That you can tell people are dropping off in the last hour by something like 200, 300,000, which is a lot.
Yeah. Okay. So one last point from the chat. Then we're going to talk about Punk with his foot. It would be nice if Wade Barrett feuded with Sheamus for the world title in an old school parking lot brawl. That would actually be pretty awesome. I really hope they're brewing for that because Sheamus needs some new blood in that feud. But Punk the Cena Sheamus Punk ADR thing pinfall. Punk has his foot in the rope. They're arguing about it going on. I mean, this whole angle with the the refs was the ref call. Was the ref's call a good one? Kind of like that. I mean, they're kind of like winking at the NFL thing going on right now. I mean, are we kind of liking this or no? Real quick.
I'm gonna say I'm in the UK, so I don't know much about the NFL situation, but I do know that the referees are replacements, so I think it's good. CM Punk looked really passionate when he was, arguing, and with the referee, it looked really realistic. So yeah, it was good, and you can exploit a lot out of that. To be fair, and it was a full circle, a 360 story. Because at the start of the show, you had Chad Patton making the right decision. By the end of it, you had a referee making a complete wrong decision. So yeah, it was good.
Okay. It's one of those things where I want to see where it goes, but I'm not excited to see where it goes. I'm a lot more excited about the tag. I'm a lot more excited about Kane and Bryan than I am about this. All right, so that was Raw. Time for Ask FTW. You ask us, we answer. On our Facebook wall, we posted the question, do you want to see Ryback holding the IC title? Majority of you voted no, but however, it does look like that's the direction WWE wants to go. Robert's saying about, Ryback's getting a fast push. He's going to be, basically he wants to see, he's wondering, he's going from serious opponent, Invisible Pyro, getting his own t-shirt. Ryback is going to be IC champion to see how it's going to hold up as champion. Nick saying, I hope that they can finally see proof that Ryback is human by seeing him lose to Miz the first time. He really likes Miz as the IC champ, but we'll see what happens because he's been a lot more dangerous coming back from his movie, which is true. This reinvigorated Miz is pretty good. Ronald saying if they want this feud to continue for a couple months, the first match, the Miz should lose the match by DQ so they can keep the IC title and keep this going. Gary's saying, did I say that Ryback will get a push for the IC title inside 6 months? He did kind of predict it, although it hasn't happened yet, so calm down. And Will's saying, I hope Miz doesn't give Ryback the IC title, unless Cody's taking it from him. Ryback screams US title, not something with actual prestige. Here's the thing. Do you want to see Ryback holding the IC title? Joe?
I'm in the middle of the road on this one. I could see him winning the title, but I don't think the character needs a title right now. I think that he can continue on just destroying people I mean, he's doing it in a different way than Goldberg. Goldberg came in, just destroyed, and left. Ryback still gets that in there, but he also, you see him take some beatings. So I don't think he really needs a title yet. I think if they keep him going and just have him in some decent feuds, then maybe a title run. But it's all about the feud, not the belt per se.
Okay, Lee.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of the road, but I'd like to see him have it just for some advancement of the Ryback character. I like him destroying everyone, but it needs to start meaning something sooner than later, or it's just going to get old. They've done well with this Feed Me More. They've managed to do really, really well with that, but they need something. And the IC title's a good start. I don't think he'll win it, but it's a good start.
Okay. Rob.
Yeah, I don't think he needs the IC title. And he's taking beatings now, but for the majority of his tenure in the WWE, it was come in, destroy, come in, destroy. Goldberg, at least, while he destroyed credible wrestlers. I think he's got to lose, and I think he's got to lose sometime soon if the WWE wants to permanently separate him from the Goldberg thing.
The problem I have with the loss thing is, in order to keep Ryback, give him some momentum, it would be like have him lose to Miz in like some kind of I don't know, like underhanded way, but that's kind of what they did with Goldberg. So I don't know. I mean, there's no real easy way out of this. I think it's just one of those things where really WWE's just got to rip off the Band-Aid and have him lose. I kind of agree with the chat here saying take the U.S. title. That one doesn't matter, which is a little bit fair. Although I keep thinking U.S. and all I can do is I just keep thinking Santino. Chat's also saying have Miz consistently walk out of all the matches with Ryback until Hell in a Cell, get Ryback pissed off, then have them go at it. I like that idea. And the only person who can beat Ryback is Undertaker. Ryback versus Undertaker at WrestleMania. Oh my God. Yeah, that would definitely be best case scenario for the Ryback character. But man, how pissed off would everybody be?
Might as well just rename Ryback Goldberg now.
Well, I mean, Joe, what were you going to say? Ryback versus Undertaker at WrestleMania?
Would it be great for the Ryback character? Absolutely. Are we going to see it happen? Fuck no. No way. There is no way in hell. Especially with Taker already saying to fans, when they're like, oh yeah, I go to WrestleMania every year, just like you. And he goes, I wouldn't make plans this year.
Yeah, exactly. Wow, Chad's saying I would love Ryback to beat Taker at Mania. No.
Whoever said that needs to be drug into the street and
it was Diva
shot.
Jill.
Jill, this proves why you have no mind for wrestling.
If you want to you just want to piss all over the grave that would be Taker's career, that you have Ryback beat him and bury the Taker thing. Wow. Talk about trolling to the extreme. All right, Nick Rodin said, what sort of feuds do you want to see going from No Surrender aside from the obvious Storm versus Rude feud? Rob.
Right now I see possibly Bully Ray, Jeff Hardy thing. Obviously, they're going to try to build up Jeff Hardy and Austin Aries for Bound for Glory. Now that we're done, I'd like to see them start working on Samoa Joe and Magnus. I think that's got a potential to be a great feud.
All right, Lee?
Yeah, Rob just took mine. It's hard. I'd like a proper X Division feud as well, going into No Surrender. But Rob's taking all mine.
Well,
completely taking all mine.
Okay, all right, that's fine. Joe, what would be your big feud that you'd like to see coming out of No Surrender?
It's Eric Young, and I don't care who.
More Eric Young. Yeah, that would be awesome. My thing is really Samoa Joe and Magnus, or Samoa Joe and anybody really, because the guy deserves it. But I'd like to see Samoa Joe and Magnus because Samoa Joe because he deserves it, and Magnus because we really got a lot of heat for saying that he wasn't that great. And I don't know, this would be a great test for him if he can put on a really good program with Samoa Joe. Maybe we were wrong, and I always love being proved wrong. So if Magnus puts on a great program, good for him. Rob, you think Sanjay Dutt and Zima Ion, that'd be pretty good?
Yeah, they've got a good X Division feud going before, and there's plenty of story behind that.
Okay.
I mean, you've got Zema Ion trying to injure him twice now.
Yeah, but I mean, that's like forever ago, and this would be the first time we've seen him in a while. Chat saying Sanjay Dutt versus Zema Ion, Samoa Joe versus Jeff
We
Hardy.
just saw him this week.
Ooh. Well, hang on. Kenny King and any X Division heel while Ion goes through the others. I like that idea. More Kenny King. He's pretty good. Dimitri93 on Twitter said WWE is still high on Ziggler, but do you think he is ready to be a main eventer? Good question. Joe, do you think Ziggler is ready to main event?
Hands down, I do. I think he's ready. I mean, yeah, he's a fresher, younger guy that, we're going to have to see some development with him with the title. But no, I think he's ready for it. He's much more ready for it than Swagger ever was when he got the title.
Damn. Yeah. Lee.
Absolutely. There's no doubt in my mind. He has been ready for months. Absolutely months.
Okay, Rob.
In the WWE, yeah, Ziggler's ready to be a main eventer.
I'm going to be honest. I'm going to say no because I still feel Ziggler can be better. And it just main event seems to me like the end. I mean, like main eventing is like the yes, you have made it. And he's doing awesome. And he's going to be main event. I just don't think he's there quite yet. I still think he can be even better than he is right now. And once he made events, that's like the finish line, at least in my opinion. But I will preface it with this: CM Punk is the one proof that that's not the case, because CM Punk became even better once he was main event. So yeah, look. I would say not yet, but if he's main event, I am not going to be upset. Chet saying Ziggler's good, but he feels bland as of late. I don't know about that. Like he doesn't show off as much as he could. That's probably fair. They need to do it before they. Basically, this is a good point. They need to get him in the main event before they end up how they treated John Morrison, which is a really good point. Yeah, you don't want him to fall into the John Morrison trap where he's over, but they never really do anything with him. All right, one quick point. Then we're gonna jump on to the next one.
What? Sorry.
You had a point before we move on.
Oh, wait, just with Dolph, if he's been ready, he's got nothing to do outside the main event now. Absolutely nothing. He's versed everyone, literally, and he's pretty much sold everyone over. There's nothing else he can do.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I just look at him and I think he's almost there. He's at 90%. He just needs that extra thing. All right, Alpaca Koalas on Twitter wrote, Pro Wrestling Syndicate out of the Northeast is booking Velvet Sky as a TNA knockout rather than a former one. Could Velvet have worked out a return to TNA? Joe?
Quite possibly, but they don't have room for really their Divas card is full right now with what they want to do with it, so maybe she's sitting on the burner waiting to come back for when they actually do need her.
Okay. Lee?
Nope, she's gone.
Okay. Rob?
Yeah, just because an indie Fed is booking you as a TNA knockout doesn't mean you are actually one. Until I see press releases from TNA saying differently, I'm going to say she's gone.
Yeah, she's totally gone. Just because of typo and the fact that she's still on the website, that doesn't mean anything. I mean, as we know, TNA never updates their roster. So yeah, she's not. Yeah, ever. She's not coming back. Will via email. Great big email. Want to appreciate it, Will. Lots of stuff that we want to talk about, but we're running out of time. This little Jimmy thing has to have some kind of payoff. Maybe they give that tag team a story. We talk about WWE failing to make new stars. They had two reputable mid-carders, and now look at the pair. He is liking the primetime players actually using the mic to their advantage. Someone has to sell the feud against Team No Face. The question I have for you is, given what Will's saying, which is pretty obvious, which do you think has the most potential to be a breakout tag team in this division? If they did something with Kofi and R-Truth, or do you think primetime players need to be it? Joe?
They've already set sail and given up on Kofi and Truth. Primetime players is where their money's at out of those two tag teams.
Okay. Lee?
Yeah, this question's a week too late. Kofi and Truth are done, as far as I'm concerned. They will be done very soon. It's primetime players all the way now.
Okay. Rob?
Yeah, I think so. WWE's already starting to break up Kofi and Truth. You're seeing them in more singles matches They're focusing on the primetime players as the future.
Okay. I would kind of agree with that. Oh, the only problem is, I mean, Kofi and R-Truth were great as a tag team, but they just needed something to really do something with it. Chad's saying it. Primetime players, hands down, mic skills, teamwork, all wrap in one. And hands down. Yeah, that definitely works. All right. So Maria on Facebook wrote in and asked us, what do you think the evidence is that Joseph Parks is waiting on that will blow the aces and eights wide open? Rob.
I have no idea what the evidence is. I don't. I kind of wonder if TNA knows what it is. And I hate to say that about them, but there are times where during this story they've kind of seemed like they don't know where they want to go. So I've got no clue,
Okay.
and I'm not even going to speculate.
Lee.
Do you know what? No. How daft it sounds, I'm going to agree with Rob. I don't think they know. I really don't, and I don't think they know where they're going with it. That's a suspicion, and I think we're going to be disappointed because I think this is going to be built up, and it's going to be one of those not Claire Lynn situations, but it's not going to be what as good as what we thought it would be.
Okay.
I'm with Rob all the way. I don't think they know where they're going with this.
All right. Then flip the question on its head, real quick. What would you want it to be, Rob?
What would I want it to be? That Bobby Roode is associated with aces and eights. Maybe a play for trying to take over the company or something.
Okay. Lee?
I'd like to be Bully Ray because I've said it from day one, and it just fits the story perfectly.
That would also work well. That's a great choice, Lee, as a backup.
Yep. I really think that'd work.
All right. Joe, both questions. What do you think they have, and what would you want it to be?
Joseph Park is waiting for a new storyline.
Awesome.
And TNA, and the second question was what do I think TNA is going to do for the second storyline?
No, what would you like to see?
What would I like to see? No Joseph Park. Seriously, the character right after he debuted, I was done with it. I was like, no, we don't need to see Abyss showing his face as yet another character.
Okay.
What do you think he is, Foley? Come on.
The 5 faces of Abyss. Chat's basically saying what I'm saying. Matt Morgan crashing into the TNA house show footage. I think that'd be pretty good. Although I think it'd be like we're saying, they don't know what it is, and they're like, shit, that's good. Let's just use that real quick. Chat's also saying Park is the leader. They're also agreeing with Lee and Rob. Morgan or Bully Ray's involved. Matt Morgan is going to come back this weekend. I would agree with that one. I think it's going to be Matt Morgan is the evidence. As far as aces and eights, we're going to do the news. Real quick, we're just going to burn through this. Like we said, Matt Morgan looks like he's returned to action during TNA house shows, so it's most likely he has re-signed. Whether or not he's agree with Aces and Eights remains to be seen. Everyone who has earned a contract through Gut Check is in OVW and is being pushed to the top there. If you actually go there, you can see it. So we should expect to see some of them start showing up in TNA as soon as they're ready, hopefully soon. Randy Orton will be taking some time off to make some movie or something. And John Cena had surgery. He has bone spurs inside his elbow. And you'll notice I did not trade him because he's only going to be out for, 3 to 4 weeks or something. And there's still time for him to be back for Hell in a Cell to hopefully get me some last minute points. And I can take the fight to Lee. Time for win, fail.
Yeah.
There we go. Time for win, fail.
Women wrestlers aren't getting paid? Why do you do a job?
Here's your win.
You do any job,
And fail
is to fucking get paid!
of the week.
Your wins of the week. Go, Joe.
My win of the week is Kevin's comment about John Cena's slogan, the Rise Above Cancer shirt, because Rise Above Cancer because you can't see cancer is not a good slogan. I was rolling when that came out of his mouth as we were sitting there watching the Lions get destroyed. Oh my God, what the fuck?
Lee, your win of the week.
It's got to be the CM Punk John Cena match, Night of Champions. Really good, one of the best main events we've had all year from anybody.
Okay. Hands down, it was amazing. Rob, your win of the week.
My win of the week is going to have to go to, like I said, from Impact, the Zima Ion Sanjay Dutt match. I thought they had a good match, and they're starting to build some momentum with that.
Okay, great. Mine, I have two. My one is for Garvin for posting the Superstars match, our Superstars thing, and calling our attention to Natalya and Alicia Fox. I have to stress it. You guys have to see this match. It's amazing. My other is JBL on Raw. I missed it on the pay-per-view, but on Raw he was money, just wall to wall. He was great. When he was going after Cole during the Sandow Ryder match, I was laughing my ass off as they were bickering back and forth. Especially when he said, "What trade show did you or what trade school did you go to for welding that you think that's a big word?" That was spectacular. All right. Chats wins. JBL on commentary at NOC. John Cena doing a suicide dive to CM Punk. Yeah, that was actually pretty impressive. You don't really see that very often. Jill saying my win, the Lions getting stomped. Kane's going to Disneyland.
That's why you're a bitch.
Kane's going to Disneyland. My hope with that storyline is they have Kane and Daniel Bryan at Disneyland as some kind of therapy thing. That would just be money for segments.
Especially if we can have Kane Tombstone Mickey Mouse or something.
Oh, that would never happen.
Somebody, I forgot where it was. Somebody photoshopped Kane and Daniel Bryan in the front of a splash.
They did, yeah. They did.
JBL and Kane versus Bryan. Sandow owning the fans on Raw. Yeah, he really did a phenomenal job on that. AJ's T-shirt going see-through with the JBL
well
commentary.
Done.
Yeah,
well done. I agree with it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Fails of the week. Your fail of the week. Go, Rob.
My fail of the week has to go to TNA. Impact as a whole was kind of a letdown. It was mostly just no surrender rematches, and no pay-per-view rematches kind of render the pay-per-view that came before irrelevant.
Yeah, that I still don't understand. Anyway, yeah. Why would you pay $40 to see it again a week later? Lee, your fail of the week.
That was my fail of the week, but it does not matter because the next fail was Jeff Hardy's dumbass logic. Why would you want to put your title shot Bound for Glory on the line when you've just won it and you're supposedly not, were hurt Sunday? Why? What's the point? You don't need to step up. You've already won it. You don't need to do it. Why? So dumbass.
Joe, your fail of the week.
My the week's opening match recently. If he's for a movie, he doesn't need a push. He really doesn't. He's Randy Orton. I'm Randy Orton. Randy Orton doesn't need a push. Randy Orton has enough cred. Let's be honest. Like him or hate him, he's got enough cred. He doesn't need a push right now. He could help push other guys and raise the product instead of him getting wins. Think outside the box, dude. That's my biggest complaint through a lot of the WWE guys. 5 moves of doom, 5 moves of doom, 5 moves of doom. That's all we're saying. Orton, if you're going to get a push, do something different.
I like the idea that you think Orton sounds like Sylvester Stallone. But yeah, 5 moves of doom thing is getting so annoying. My fail is the fact that all three of you took my fails. The rematch, the redone of the pay-per-view, the fact that we have to have, I don't know why, the Hardy versus Bully Ray, that makes no sense to me at all. I don't know. If I had to pick something, I kind of got to pick something new. Eve versus Beth. I really, that match was really lackluster considering that Beth Phoenix was in it. I don't know. I just expect so much more out of her, and it just felt weird. All right. Chat saying Raw. Oh, I'm sorry, Joe. You got another one?
Yeah, I got one more. Jill, your little comment to suck your dick. I just want to say that's kind of a fail because you just ratted out that you actually have a dick.
Okay. You two, calm down. Get a room. Chet saying
no way. I can't sleep with my eyes closed if that happened.
Man, you really hate the fact that she crapped all over your lines, don't you?
I don't like Jill.
Raw ending. My fail is Zack Ryder. Chet saying Booker T and the Bro Kick being reinstated. Yeah, that sucked. what else we got? Darren Young on the mic. Yeah. Titus O'Neil made him look terrible. What did he do? He just repeated that one line that Titus said. It was so sad. Sheamus at Diva Chill was actually someone's fail in the chat. Sheamus still being champion. Either Dolph or ADR should have taken it on Sunday. Yeah. Orton's middle finger. God, that was so stupid. But here's the best. Win of tonight goes to the chat for this comment. Kane Tombstone's Mickey Mouse, and it turns out to be Pete Rose. And that's it. That is the show. Why not check out FTWpodcast.com for more information about us and how to get involved in the future. You can join the live chat with the hooligans. There's even a support tab where you can donate, buy merch, as well as links to rate us on iTunes and Stitcher. We accept no less than 4 stars. Thank you, everyone in the live chat. You guys are phenomenal. The FTW hooligans strike again. We record every FTW episode on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, 1 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time at FTWLive.com, and we will see you guys next Tuesday. Later. Oh, it's the live chat hooligans? It's not the FTW hooligans? Alright, it's the live chat hooligans. Can't believe they dubbed themselves. That's awesome. Alright, see you guys next week.